a step toward bringing our country and community together. Start a meaningful conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Here you are, my lady.
Stop it, Rita. I'm not a princess anymore. Ugh, how long do they plan on keeping me here? They already took my baby. What more do they want from me?
I don't know, madam.
They know when the king finally gets a hold of me, I'll be executed. So why not just turn me over and let Asilas do their dirty work for them? I just don't understand. Maybe they plan on bartering me for something, but I'm quite certain Asilas won't trade anything valuable for my life. He isn't that focused on killing me.
Ma'am, I know some people that might be able to help you.
You know people? What do you mean?
Well, my boyfriend works for a network. He says for the right amount of money, they can transport people to other parts of the world. He says they know where the safe zones are and pay to travel through certain routes.
Your boyfriend told you all this? I find that hard to believe.
It's true, ma'am. I know it is because he helped me get here from the original states.
Prove it. Is that?
Mm-hmm. An original branding tattoo.
Everyone had to get the standard black tattoos, but only the first 100 got the red, white, and blue ones. You were one of the originals?
I was, and let me just say, it burned on my forehead like a fire for weeks.
I never noticed it under your hat. Oh, God. So you actually met with the king the day they branded you?
I did.
But how? Why? When did you end up here?
The world has turned into a very bad place, my lady. Things have gotten so bad. I lost my mother, my sisters, and extended family to terrorist attacks. In New York and other parts, my uncle was staying in the hotel that was bombed in Miami. My father and brothers were brutally murdered by Spartans in the first wave of uprisings.
I heard about all that. It's terrible what they did to those protesters. Do you think your boyfriend can really get me out of here and back to the original states?
Yes, but it will cost a lot of money. They prefer gold, no credits, by the way. I can get you out of here at the right moment and get you to a phone, and there you can call Prince Jacob to send the gold.
I doubt he'd pay anything. I'll call my mother.
New Kingdom Radio Theater.
Built Bar is a true standout among protein bars. It has an exceptional nutritional profile and so many delicious flavors, such as double chocolate, salted caramel, peanut butter brownie, black cherry chocolate cream, coconut, raspberry, and many more. Built Bars are better than the leading brands at grocery stores. Less calories, less fat, less net carbs, less sugar. Built Bar is the go-to protein bar for many discerning fitness trainers and fitness enthusiasts alike. Click the link in the show notes and order a box of Built Bar today. You can even mix and match your own flavor combinations. Built Bar, the preferred protein bar of the New Kingdom Radio Theater.
There was a time when King Asilas had more things happening at once than he could keep tabs on. But he was not a man that could be easily confused, nor did he allow his frustrations to cloud his judgment. His interest in locating Princess Monica for the purpose of publicly executing her drifted down the ladder of importance. This lack of interest presented an opportunity for the princess to reach out to her mother, Lord Vanessa Banks. Lord Banks arranged for Monica to be smuggled through the heart of Europe and to a coastal country. There, she would be transported by boat across the Atlantic Ocean and back to the original states. Meanwhile, Beals met with Monica's supposed father, Malcolm Banks. The devil tried to convince Malcolm to have a shapeshifter infiltrate the Grand Castle, posing as a Spartan. The idea was to get the shapeshifter close to King Asilas and assassinate him. This way, Prince Jacob would become king, whom both believed could easily be manipulated.
So, you really think Jacob is that docile? All I would have to do is show up, and he would do whatever I ask. That seems like a stretch, oh Prince of Darkness.
And you really think Jacob has the guts to go against you? Or anybody for that matter? Intellectually or otherwise? You give that emotional clown too much credit. He couldn't even get a word in with his own wife when she stood up to him.
Careful now. That's my make-believe daughter you're talking about.
Malcolm, I need you to figure out a way to take Asilas out. Or, at the very least, trick him into opening my gates. Do you understand what I mean?
Sure I do. Which means he still has not accepted who he really is. I still don't get why, though. Nobody has done more to destroy the world than he has. And he still thinks he's on a holy mission or something. I thought for sure he'd come around by now. The man is completely insane.
Usually insanity works in my favor. But with Asilas, I can't take any more chances. The time is getting too close, and I plan on winning this war.
You really think you can beat the Son of Man?
In Antarctica, Oreb's recon team returned with more exotic ancient technologies. One appeared to be an electronic instrument. Oreb called Dr. Liverpool to analyze it. Liverpool told Oreb, and subsequently the king, that the instrument was an electronic device and had a display screen like a tablet. When the device was powered up, images appeared on the screen. It showed people speaking in a strange language. The people began running as a white cloud swooped down from above, and then everything turned white. When the cloud cleared, there were giants walking through the streets of an ancient city. The giants crushed people alongside them indiscriminately, and they made horrific sounds. The images made Oreb white with fear. Oreb said the giants were more ferocious than even the Drax warriors. Asilas said he believed the giants to be the fabled Nephilim. And the images were likely from a time before the Great Flood. Asilas then said,
The fire next time. Fire is what awaits us now, my friend.
America's #1 source for news, with Tom Novak.
We have breaking news coming from the Guatemala region of the kingdom. Mount Pacaya, near Guatemala City, has suddenly erupted. The Center for Emergencies has issued a code red emergency with mandatory evacuations for over 1 million residents near the volcano. Enormous ash clouds can be seen from over 100 miles away, and destructive lava is flowing in all directions from the center of the volcano. Volcanologists in Guatemala City are warning that the Pacaya eruption is merely the first of several eruptions throughout the Central American region. Scientists from around the world monitoring the situation are echoing this warning, saying that the North American and Canadian regions are likely to experience volcanic activity in the coming days and weeks. With so much seismic activity, people near active volcanoes are being advised to evacuate as soon as possible until the danger passes, though no one seems to know at this point when that will be. There are reports of civil unrest in coastal cities in the Central American region, as evacuees from the Pacaya eruption are being met by opposition. The locals in those coastal cities have very limited resources, and taking in hundreds of thousands of displaced people has many people voicing their displeasure with the influx of people. Some have even taken to the streets in large numbers, gathering outside of the various palaces belonging to Lord Vargas in the region. Countless of these displaced migrants have been subjected to violence and even public execution, which the local reporters have dubbed the Migrant Massacre. So far, neither Lord Vargas nor the king have stated they plan to intercede in these inhumane acts taking place in the Central American region. In the original states, there is no shortage of hostility either. A growing number of tribal groups have seized control of cities dotted across the kingdom, as well as large areas of rural lands. There are reports of people seeking refuge from the Yellowstone eruption being subjected to violence by nameless gangs claiming ownership of long stretches of highways and cities. A statement from the office of Lord Jeremy Oreb has indicated that the king has authorized all branches of the military to assist in establishing order throughout the original states and other parts of the kingdom. There is even a kill order for the tribalists that have created havoc for motorists traveling from region to region, even going so far as to use airstrikes to remedy the situation and clear the roads of ruthless gangs. In India and China, there are widespread reports of missing persons. It is estimated that literally millions of people have suddenly gone missing, and some are saying King Asilas is responsible for the disappearances. But a spokesperson for the king brushed off questions about the missing people in those regions, including some untold number of people reported missing in the South American region. We will stay on top of these stories and much more in the days and weeks.
Unkept secret, it's on. the airstrikes throughout the original states haven't been as effective as we hoped. We've taken out countless highway thugs, pirates really, but the leaders of most of those gangs stay away from the highways. We're merely taking out the grunts. The heads of the tribes or gangs are remaining in place.
I realize this, Quentin. I have my eyes set on bigger fish right now.
Sir, bigger fish?
These highway thugs and local tribalism is nothing compared to what is taking place in the European regions. I think it's time we admit we no longer have any control in the Middle East, much of the European region, and certainly not in the Asian regions.
Well, the food shortage and all these catastrophes happening is because we can't control the dependencies people have. Think about it. When we control the money, the dependency on social services, food, the media, the local laws, and everything in between, we can control the people. But since our communications have been literally crushed, the sky was blackened, and it's been one natural disaster after another. People have resorted to basic survival. Nobody can control people when they resort to their primal impulses, sir. This is not on you. You do understand this, I hope.
I do, to a certain degree. Some of what is happening is my doing. You and I know that. Some of it is supposed to happen. And trying to regain control is also something I must do in order to fulfill my role in this world. I hope you understand this as well, my friend.
I do, sir. Very much so. There is something else I need to tell you about. It's rather urgent.
What is it?
The volcano eruptions happening around the kingdom. They've been spreading massive wildfires. The crops we were hoping would help taper the famine and tribalism, and cannibalism, frankly. The wildfires have destroyed vast areas of farmland and threaten to destroy much more. Sir, did you hear what I said?
I did. Have a seat, Quentin. I want you to be present for this conference call I'm about to do.
Conference call? I don't understand.
Esther, place a call to the Ukrainian oligarch, Kuzma.
To what do I owe the pleasure, Your Majesty? In these times, such calls are not only impossible for the common man, it is also quite rare for men like us. This must be an important matter.
It is. Tell your men, your thugs, to stand down in Kiev. Relay this to your brothers in Vilnius and Riga as well.
Stand down. Is that a joke?
If it is, it's only funny to you. Do you hear me laughing?
My king, please remember I am your friend and ally in Ukraine. My brothers in Lithuania and Latvia are too. We've always been loyal to you. We are just taking what was promised to us when we pledged our loyalty.
You will stand down, Kuzma, as will Lithuania and Latvia. I'm not going to say it nicely again.
You want my people to stop collecting what is owed to us. You know that is very unfair, Your Majesty.
If I cannot control your regions, Kuzma, neither will any of you. Have you forgotten I have nuclear missiles? Do you know I have some in close proximity to you right now? You wouldn't have enough time to change your pants when you hear the whistles raining down on you before you and your thugs evaporate.
Nuclear arms, Asilas? Seriously? It's been a while since you've used any. You swore to the world you would not use them anymore. Do you remember saying that on television?
I need to hear you say you will stand down, Kuzma. And I expect your brothers to follow your lead.
I will need some time to do as you ask, Asilas.
You will address me as Your Majesty. Do you understand this?
Of course, Your Majesty. My apologies.
The minute the conference call ends, get on the phone and call them. If you fail to do this, Kuzma, it will be the last thing you do on this earth. Lord Capone, ready the missiles. Use the High Council access codes.
Codes have been entered, sir. Ready to fire on your command.
Your Majesty, I am calling my brothers right now, I swear. Please, I understand you will do as you say.
Your family, Kuzma. Your wife, your kids, even the illegitimate ones. the 15 favorite whores you keep in various mansions. All of it will evaporate in a matter of minutes.
Okay, I mean it. I will call them. We will pull out of our strongholds, I promise.
If you so much as even sell one more ounce of dope on the street, if you so much as even force one more young girl into prostitution, one more robbery, one more act of extortion, I will incinerate your entire city. Do you think I am bluffing?
I do not, sir.
Awaiting your command, sir. Do we proceed with the launch sequence?
Begin the launch sequence, but fire on my command.
An hour. I need at least an hour to make all of the arrangements and end all of that business, Your Majesty. I need an hour to stop all of that.
No, Kuzma. You need an hour to get all your people out of the city. All of your drugs, all of your whores, all of your thugs, your muscle, your gold, Kuzma. You're a liar, a pimp, a pedophile, and everything that is scum. Capone, fire the nukes.
Firing sequence completed, sir. Missiles are in the air.
Goodbye, Kuzma. Say hi to the devil for me.
King Asilas launched 3 nuclear missiles at cities in the Ukraine, Lithuania, and Latvia. These regions were largely controlled by oligarchs and criminal organizations. They had disregarded the king's orders deliberately and were conducting illicit business without any regard for the laws of the crown. For this, King Asilas decided to make an example out of them by rescinding a promise he made to the world that he would never again use nuclear bombs after the Chinese surrendered to America. However, news of the nuclear attack did not have the impact on the news cycle the king had hoped for. There were simply too many disasters to cover, and with the food shortage reaching very dangerous levels, the entire planet and any sense of civility was on the edge of complete collapse. Meanwhile, in Southern California, Dr. Liverpool was overseeing a survey of large openings in the ground from previous earthquakes in his area. His team of scientists detected high levels of radiation emanating from some of the large cracks in the ground. There were also some anomalous readings the team of scientists wanted to investigate. Dr. Liverpool immediately contacted Lord Oreb, who instructed him to use a hazmat team to venture into the largest crack in the area. Being lowered using cables, 2 scientists went down to see what the source of anomalous readings was. When they reached 100 feet, they reported hearing loud screams and a sudden spike in their temperature readings. On the surface, however, Liverpool and the others did not hear anything unusual, even though the microphones appeared to be working. Suddenly, they heard loud screams, but they were the screams of the 2 scientists. Loud, strange sounds could be heard, and what sounded like a violent struggle. Then, there was silence.
You've been listening to The Rise of King Asilas, Episode 57. Fire This Time, starring J.V. Torres as King Asilas and Beals, John Dobie as Lord Quentin Capone, L.A. Bonet as Princess Monica, Gary Scales as Malcolm Banks, Don Rosinski as newsreader Tom Novak,
Tanya Milevich as Rita,
Brandon Richards as Kuzma, and narrated by Sergei Brashnikov. This episode features the song Fire by the Inventors. Download the music of the Inventors on bandcamp.com today. For more information about the cast, the music, or this production, please visit us at www.theriseofkingasilas.com for a full list on our Season 4 episode page. And now a word from our podcast friends.
Do you like blood loss and decapitations and debris poking through your skin? If you like your gods angry, your buildings collapsible, and your insects organized into living quilts, Doomsday is the podcast for you. Subscribe to rediscover some of the most traumatic, bizarre, and awe-inspiring but largely unheard of disasters from throughout human history and around the world. This first season, you'll hear about the worst groin injury in the recorded history of medical science. People compressed to the height of a business card, preheated to the temperature of the sun, electrocuted by coconuts, and phrases like, the plague of horror had been cleared away by the cleansing mercy of the volcano. This is not the podcast you play around your kids, or while eating, or even in mixed company, but as long as you find yourself a little more historically engaged and learn something that could potentially save your life, our work is done. All this and more on Doomsday, history's most dangerous podcast, a Funeral Kazoo production on the Anchor FM network. Find it wherever podcasts are found.
This has been a production of the New Kingdom Radio Theater in Baltimore, Maryland. Copyright 2021. I'm Keith Norris, and stay tuned for episode 58.